Hi everyone and welcome to Creative Cakes by Sharon. Today I'm going to show you how to create this cake topper of Justin Timberlake that I used on a cake that was inspired by his 2020 Experience concert tour. So today I'm using my JT template, and you can get a copy of this in the description box below. I've got my fondant roller, about 100 grams of black fondant, about 250 grams of gum paste, a little bit of water, some white melted chocolate, a nice fluffy brush. I've got my X-Acto blade and a black edible marker, as well as some black sanding sugar and 2 lengths of wires, roughly about 8 inches each. So let's get started. The first thing I need to do is roll out my gum paste. Now I don't want to roll this out too thin. I want to keep it to about 5 millimeters thick. So once I've rolled it out, and you can see the thickness here, I'm going to place my template on top of the gum paste and carefully, using my X-Acto blade, cut right around the very edge of the template. I need to make sure this first cut along the bottom edge is nice and straight, because this is what I'm going to stand on my cake board at the end. So just working around the template very carefully, taking my time to get into all the details, and then removing the excess gum paste. Now I'm going to take my 2 lengths of wires and carefully, starting from the bottom, insert them up into the gum paste until they're about 3/4 of the way in. Now while I was inserting the wires, I've created a few little finger impressions, so I'm just going to smooth that over with the palm of my hand and put the whole thing aside to dry for at least 24 hours. Now to add a little bling to my cake topper, I'm going to add a sparkly tie for Justin. So I've got my black fondant here, and I'm just going to roll it out to about 3 mils thick, and then I'm going to cut 2 strips, one a little bit wider than the other, out. I've got here my water and my paintbrush ready to go, and I'm just going to fold the top and the bottom of the largest strip over to create a bow, and I'm just going to place it on top of my template just to check the sizing. So it's a little bit big, so I'm going to trim it back a bit. And once again, I'm going to fold the ends over and just check it again on the template. So I'm happy with that length. So with a little bit of water in the center of the black fondant, I'm going to bring up the 2 ends and stick them down. And then with my fingers, I'm just going to gently squeeze in the center to create a little crease in the center of the bow. And while I'm doing this, I want to make sure that the back end, or the underneath side, stays nice and flat, because this is a side that's going to stick onto the cake topper at the end. Now I've just grabbed a little piece of wax paper, or you could use some paper towel, and I'm just going to roll it into a little cylinder and pop it inside the loop of my bows, just so that it holds its shape until it dries. And then with the narrower piece of black fondant, I'm just going to trim it in half and then squeeze the 2 sides of it to make it a bit more narrow and place it in the center of the bow. Then I'm just going to pick it up and adhere it to the back with a little bit of water, and put this aside with my gum paste topper to dry fully for at least 24 hours. Now I've got my bow tie here again, and it's dried overnight, so it's nice and hard and easy to work with. I'm just going to add a little bit of sparkle and bling to it. So first of all, I'm going to remove the little pieces of wax paper from the loops, and I'm going to wet the bow with a little bit of water and my paintbrush, and then I'm going to sprinkle my black sanding sugar all over the top of the bow. I'm going to stand the bow up now and make sure that I get the glitter right on the very edge of the bow, because this is going to be visible when it's attached to the front of the cake topper. And I'm just going to dust off any of the excess and leave it aside till a bit later on. Now I've got my cake topper here, and it's nice and hard to the touch, and I'm going to start filling in the details for my Justin Timberlake cake topper. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut out the black jacket that he's wearing. Then I'm going to reposition the template onto the topper, and using my black edible marker, I'm just going to colour in these 2 black sides. Guys, this is quite a fun cake topper to create of your favourite artist. It looks quite impressive and quite difficult to make, but as you can see, it's really quite easy. If you like what you're seeing so far, don't forget to subscribe to my channel for other creative cake ideas, and drop me a line in the comment section below to tell me who your favourite artist is. So now that I've completed the jacket, I'm going to carefully cut out the shadow under his chin from the template, and then reposition the template back onto the gum paste and colour in this section with the black edible marker. So now hopefully you're getting the idea of how I'm creating this. So I'm going to move up now towards his mouth and cut his mouth out around the black line, and then putting that back onto the template and colouring it in. For the little shadow marks on his chin, I'm just going to add those in by my hand without the use of the template. And then of course I'm just going to do the same with his nose as well as both of his eyes, and you can see quite quickly it's quite recognizable as Justin Timberlake. Now, just using the template as a guide, I'm just going to draw some lines for the tiny little bits of sideburn that we can see on the template, as well as the shadow just over the top of his ears. And then finally, I'm going to cut around his hairline and reposition the template onto the topper and colour in his hair. While I'm doing this, I'm going to keep the highlights and the white sections in his hair, so I'm just going to shade around some areas, leaving some sections white and uncoloured. Now it's time to stick the bow onto the template. So I've just got my white chocolate here, which I've remelted in the microwave. I'm just going to pop the tiniest little amount at the bottom where I want to position my bow tie, and then carefully hold it in place on the topper until it's dry, which will only be about 5 to 10 seconds. And there you'll have your completed Justin Timberlake cake topper to use on your very own cake. Guys, if you enjoyed this tutorial, don't forget to give it a like and share it with your friends. I love to get your feedback, so don't forget to drop me a line in the comment section below. Make sure you subscribe to my channel for more creative cake tutorials, and as always, thanks for watching.